Hi guys, it is the day before the Snowdonia Sportif, and I just thought I'd show you quite how much I'm overpacking. Please excuse my dirty house. I'd love to tell you it's only today, but I'm a messy person who lives in mess, so don't judge me too harshly. You'd be forgiven for thinking that I'm going away for like a 14-day trip with what I've packed. So I will start with food. That's for breakfast. Full of gels, load of Cliff Bars, talk, drink, homemade flapjack. I always carry homemade flapjack. I want savoury food when I'm halfway round. Lentils, excellent, packed with carbs, but savoury and tasty. Some fruit in that mix. Equipment, the bike itself with everything I could possibly need. Please excuse my dirty knickers drying behind there. Well, they're clean now. Yeah, I think the bike's all ready to go. Both my cameras are on, lights, and in this bag here, I've got spare lights, so if I use all the battery on the first loop, I can swap them over, and I've even got proper big commuting style lights for if it looks like we're not going to finish the second loop until after dark. In this bag here is all the clothes I want to wear, so this is where it's silly now, is an entire fresh change of clothes. In case we get soaked and cold on the first loop, this bag contains all of the clothes in that bag duplicated. Planning for tomorrow, 2 loops, obviously lots of elevation. So first loop takes us round over Bwlch-y-Groes, or down to Dol, over Bwlch-y-Groes, up to Bala, over, I love this climb, over there. It doesn't even have a name, I don't think, it's so obscure. Back to Llan. Down to Llan Ffestiniog, up Stwlan, Abergeirw, 190 kilometres we hit the Colid, that's stupid innit? Up Nebo Road, which feels positively nice after everything else. This is Llan Roost, we'll probably eat there. Over Pen Machno, and then up, what's this one called? Llyn Tegid to finish. So that's brilliant, apart from small fact of the fact that it's going to be 1 to 6 degrees for most of the ride. Going to be absolutely Baltic. What I'm absolutely loving, though, is that on the Backpedal server at the moment, the guys who are already there, so that's Ruben and his dad, Troy, Ian, Tommy, and Troy's girlfriend, and Tony C at the moment, are sharing their pictures and talking about how great this area means so much to me. Seeing that they're having a good time, honestly, one of my biggest stresses is people are going to come and they're going to go, why have you banged on about this? Like, it's nice, but we didn't need to travel here. Which is maybe silly, because, one, I don't own Snowdonia. It's not like they're complimenting me, but I feel really, like, personally invested in them enjoying it. So I'm really glad to see that. So my dad will be here any minute. I've not properly packed. I'll see you guys on the road. So like all of my Snowdonia rides, this is where I start my day, descending Llan. I didn't think about the fact that I know the descent really well and others don't, so I just hammered it and dropped everyone, the only time in the day that I dropped everyone. Unfortunately, from here, I then miss about 40k of the ride, and it's a beautiful 40k. I just thought I was saving my camera for like 12 hours, which obviously isn't how it turned out, but fortunately a lot of Ed's early video, which I will link in the description down below, is filmed on those initial lovely quiet lanes. They're beautiful, and I will go back and I will film them again, because I really think they're worthy of it, to be honest. So yeah, this was where the group started. We split up from the off, unfortunately. It was a slow start. So if anyone cares about pacing, the final bit is the steepest, so save something. Segment starts at these signs. Yeah. So it's kind of average 13%, but, well, 1k of the last 1.5k is 18% average, so, yeah. Save something. Lee's last feed, making peace with the pain, I think. Come on, Tony. Yeah, I got 34 for this. So I'm absolutely rubbish at getting my voice to line up perfectly with the videos. I will try my best here. But this is the start of Bwlch-y-Groes. It's a nasty climb, and the fact that it starts with that steep hairpin is pretty intense. It certainly tests your mental fortitude straight away of going, you know, I know that I can't shoot off. Normally I'd take a hairpin like that hard to get over it, but if I go into the red there, then I'm absolutely screwed. So I started at what I thought was relatively conservative. Last time I did this, I aimed to hold 350 watts, knowing that I wouldn't, if that makes sense. You know, when I aim to hold 350, I'm gonna average about 330 probably, so that was how I aimed to do it. And here I thought, well, I'll aim to do 330 because I know I'm ill, or I was ill. And Top Cat's wheel was so tempting that I kept going a little bit over, and you see that I just can't hold it. Like, I'm really struggling, and this is too early to be struggling. You haven't even turned the corner to see the proper climb yet. This is but a foothill, an aperitif, if you like. So I regret that. Looking at these power numbers, maybe okay if I was fit, and maybe okay if I hadn't gone a bit too deep a bit too early, but yeah, very silly actually. And it's telling that I've shot away from Lee and Peter, who were very much my equals. Especially Lee being you know, the pro pacer for these climbs. It was very silly of me to think I could get away with that. Rain's starting to set in, as you can see. It's still picturesque, and it's not so bad having the rain set in when you're going uphill, but the problem is you sort of don't mind that you're getting wet, and then you have to descend later, and it can really put a dampener on your day. That wasn't an intentional pun. I will never make puns on these videos intentionally, I promise. Did you see how tall Peter is there? It's unreal. I've jumped ahead a bit here, so we're at the bit by the crash barrier. We've just done what's known as the flat section, which is 10%. The flat section. And the parts by the crash barrier are where things get serious. 15, 16, 20% even at times. It's really tough. And this is where you're just in full-on survival mode. I've just got to get up this. There's no way around it. It can be tough, yeah, doing this section here and seeing that it goes uphill, steeper still. Local point of interest, this is where Illy Gardner did her Everesting, this section of the Bwlch-y-Groes, which, fantastic choice when you're as accomplished a hill climber as she is. So yeah, that was really cool. Chris Boardman in his autobiography tells stories about riding the milk race, and pros just pushing their bikes up here, because back in the day, you know, they had like a 42 as their little ring and a 23 cassette or something. So I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised that they pushed. I've done this with a 36/28 before, and it's just misery. Okay, you might go faster, but it's misery. And even Top Cat said after that his gearing was not right. It was too much to have to try and muscle over. You really need a decent ratio on there, like a 1.1 or 1 even. Lee's been reeling me in for ages. Lee is just so consistent. It's amazing. Bit about the saddle though, that tells you quite how severe it is when Lee Baxter is out the saddle. He told me afterwards that he thought this was harder than Hard Knot Pass. Now, I don't like to get into the game of my big hill's better than your big hill, or my favourite cycling area is better than your cycling area. I bet Hard Knot is an absolute killer with a well-deserved reputation, and the lakes are amazing, but I'll always say that I think Snowdonia just deserves to be talked about with all the other best cycling locations in the world. I'm not saying it's better, I'm just saying it deserves to be in the same conversation. This hill is unrivaled. in a certain way, in its unrelenting steepness. You don't get a second rest. Even the Collid has steep sections and hard sections, and it has little micro recoveries on it, and this just does not. This is 3 kilometers of do your threshold or fall off your bike sort of cycling, which is really tough mentally. When I first did this climb as an adult, I was relatively out of shape. I was heavy because I was training for running, for sprinting, and it was really hard just to keep the bike moving. You know, when you're like rocking pedal to pedal just to keep the bike moving. So here we go to the top. I promise you it's normally an amazing view down to Bala, down to Llyn Tegid. However, today you could not see very far at all. It's a real shame because it's a cracking view. And another day, hopefully all these guys will get to experience it too, hopefully. Nice to regroup in this car park. Yeah. Yeah, me too. My heart rate started at 182. I normally don't hit 180. What did you make of it, guys? Haha. Yeah, Go on, Tommy, not far, mate. Go on, Craig, not far, mate. Smashing it, bud. Go on, mate. Not far. Less than a K. Rear camera talk about a climb. Bwlch-y-Groes, hardest climb in Great Britain according to Ed Laverack. I think I did 17:20, which pretty poor, but you know, I'm just coming back from illness. I know, excuses, but my heart rate was 182 from the beginning, and normally my heart rate doesn't hit 180, so maybe it's freshness, maybe it's lack of fitness, maybe it's illness, but yeah, I think my average heart rate up there would have been 185, which is just insane. It was limiting me, guys. My heart rate was limiting me. Come on, backpedalers! Doing really well!
Halfway through, yeah.
Go on, bud. You sure?
Yeah. It's a good photo. It's a good photo, wow.
It's a cracking photo. All the backpedal boys coming up the hill.
That was my geary.
Yeah.
That'd be the geary that I grew up in.
Go on, Dad, smashing it. So we've regrouped a little bit, and now we're rolling around Llyn Efrynwy, to say the correct Welsh name. Poorly mangled in my English mouth. It's a beautiful reservoir. It's a beautiful bit of Wales, as a lot of people pointed out. It feels very different to the sort of desolate moorland. It's lovely, lush forest. We do a lovely climb from the lake up to the top of Hirnant Pass, and that stretch of road, sort of from Efrynwy to Bala, is beautiful. It's beautiful to ride the other way. My dad took me up it once. You'll see the hill we descend. He brought me up that when I was 15 on his old school, again, like 42 little ring bike, and I pushed it all the way up and probably had a strop and didn't appreciate it at the time. But we've been back and done it since, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing around there. I'd really recommend having a ride of these roads if you ever get a chance. It can be a really nice day out, or you can get snowed on in August like my mum and dad did and nearly get hypothermic, you know. Wales stuff.
Yeah, okay, Tony, this bit's hard.
We were really starting to struggle with the weather here, like snow getting heavier to the point that it was making us a bit wet through, and although it's scenic and lovely here, it was a real struggle just knowing that a long descent was coming, and I think it saps your legs as well, and we realised we were well behind time, so this like merry band of me, Lee, Tony and Peter Sort of had a bit of a war council chat at the end about being realistic about what we were actually going to achieve today, given that we were so far behind schedule, unfortunately. Absolutely not. We've already quit.
Have you?
Yeah. We are so slow. Like, we'd be about 3 hours behind. We're still absolutely going to go and do the dam because it's not too far. But then, if we're making good time, I still think we could head north to Bwlch-y-Groes and then just come back on ourselves, and it's a little extra loop. You do Penmachno climb and then Llyn Tegid. But we'll just have to play it by ear, see where we are, when we are. Sort of. Were there people behind in range?
Get down before this gets too much worse.
Yeah, guys. If you want, just go on, and it's a long, bobbling descent. Just take it. Go all the way to Bala if you want. How are we doing, John? They're not far. There he is. Here we are. We've abandoned all premise of doing the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
We were too slow, basically. In short, top of the climbs, just up here, and there's a nice place to stop. Corner. Here we are. They've made it. We just keep going. We'll roll down into Bala. It's an amazing descent, Hirnant. It's a great climb when you come the other way, and this whole road, in my opinion, is better in reverse, but I couldn't squeeze it in. In reverse to what we've done today, which is the standard forward. I couldn't squeeze it in that way, but it's still beautiful. But look at my rear view camera, look at how it's a bit like I'm being chased by ghosts or something in a horror film. It's so hazy, because the conditions really were worsening. But like I say, this road is beautiful, and you couldn't not enjoy it, even in the snow. It's fantastic descent. You can get up a good bit of speed as well, because it's a nice clear road, but unfortunately the faster we went, the colder we got, because that melt water had really soaked in. It was at this point that I really regretted being a bit precious about my summer bike and saying I wasn't putting mud guards on it in case they erupt the paint. I should have just clipped some race blades on for once. It wouldn't have done any harm. It would have kept me much drier, sort of in the lower leg and foot area, and it would have been more considerate for my fellow riders as well. Yeah, it was a bit of a dark spot for us, unfortunately, because it could really be one of the highlights of the ride. And yeah, on this descent, I think is when in my own mind I thought, well, we'll just get back to Llan. We'll see what happens. We're behind on time. We're cold. We will make sure we get back to Llan. I didn't really want to stop in Bala, which is only about 8k from here, because I thought if I'm this wet and cold and I stop, that'll be like a nail in the coffin for me. How are you doing, young man? You okay? What's up? No. Fortunately, GoPro, we're not going to manage the full loop, no way near. Ed and a small contingent still at the cafe. That's Ed, Craig, Troy and John. Everyone else is off elsewhere. I'm just chasing them down now. In the cloud, covered in snow, and that's the mountain Bwlch-y-Groes is on, where we just climbed.
Thank you.
No worries, head on through.
Thank you.
Did you all see the waterfall?
Cheers, Nick.
Keep an eye out for the waterfall. This is the road that goes from the southern tip of Llyn Tegid, that's Bala Lake, over to Trawsfynydd. It's 14 miles, and it's one of the most remote roads I feel in Wales, because for all I love about Snowdonia, it's not really that remote. There's lots of small villages around. It's a relatively compact place. It's not like the Highlands of Scotland where you can be 50 miles from people, maybe. I've just guessed that. I've made that up. So this road, 14 miles, there's one farmhouse along it, but otherwise you could really forget anything related to being man-made, apart from the road itself you're riding. And I absolutely love that. The scenery is beautiful in both directions, but my rear camera was obscured. And yes, you have to open and close a load of gates, but that's okay when you got mates with you. And in a way, I think it adds a challenge to if you want to try and get the com. Do I open the gates? Do I throw my bike over and parkour it? Who knows? Fun. I know I'm a broken record, but this is my favourite road. I absolutely love it. So after you kind of crest these triple hills, or the third hill is like the fifth gate, you can see the Rhinog Mountains, which I have a video on me cycling through a few weeks ago. And it's just this long sweeping descent for really quite a long time. This is actually one of the highest points en route. It's only about 10 metres short of the peak at Bwlch-y-Groes. And it's a really, really nice road to descend. It's amazing how well kept the road is for how little traffic there must be, which I guess makes sense. And it's kind of technical, but you can see these corners coming a mile off. You get a feel for whether they're going to be gravelly or not, and some of them are. But you can cane it, and it's not a simple straight descent. It's loads of fun. So you can see Lee Baxter, ex-downhill mountain biker, just railing it, having never ridden it before. I really struggled to kind of keep up with him, and I know these corners like the back of my hand, really. I've left all of the footage of this descent in. Maybe 3.5 minutes of it is silly, but I just think it's so great. It's so much fun. I thought you might like to see it all. And the scenery is kind of different again. It's moorland, and the Rhinogs are, as I tried to show in my other video, quite rugged. And it's this, not great agricultural land, but there's a nice fast flowing river to the left that you can't quite see. And we're coming down towards the mythical village of Abergeirw, with Coed y Brenin on the left, which is kind of a mountain biking forestry road. If I'd have had my camera on at the beginning, this is more of what you'd have seen from our sort of run out. It was quite nice that we were back together to a degree at this point, and that we'd given up any illusion of doing the whole thing, so we didn't mind, cane it down here at your own pace, and we'll just regroup at the end, and we'll ride as a group. We were still missing the foursome who'd stopped at a different cafe to us, unfortunately, but it was great to be together. We'd stopped for some photos at the top and stuff, and it became a real feel of just like, this is a group of people enjoying riding their bikes together somewhere. Forget about all the other sort of pressures that I'd put on it, and just have some fun. I know this is going to be tedious. You're going to say, no one cares, Nick, but this is a fantastic bridge that I'm about to cross. Or maybe I have crossed. Timing of these is terrible. But I often stop with my bike there because this little deep river valley in the bridge over it's proper picturesque. Unfortunately today I was in fast descent mode, so just kept going. But it is lovely. Occasionally you get a tourist or two along this road, but really you barely ever see anyone, and it can be nice, but I'd also hate to get a mechanical here for the same reason. It feels very isolated.
Could be some ancient settlement.
Probably. Yeah, it's like a ghost town or something. What was that, sorry?
He's moved into a little building.
Yeah.
Set up a permanent com hunting residence.
Compton nerve centre.
The centre was like amazing.
Good, isn't it?
It's like gravelly, but if you stay on the left side of the road, it's like...
Yeah, you have to be careful. It's technical, but you can go fast.
Yeah.
Finally, here we are, spinning up Stwlan Dam. It's an incredible climb, and I won't go too hard on it because Ed's got a video on it. Phil featured it heavily in our Snowdonia ride together, and I think lots of people know it well, but it's got to be some of the best uphill tarmac in the UK. It's stunning. It's car-free, which is great, and it was the perfect way to end, really. We were disappointed that we weren't doing the whole thing, but this was the perfect way for us to all enjoy and kind of a big send-off for what had been an awesome, hard, cold day.
Gonna be a good sun now, and let's just ride it together. There was no way I was going to get a PR, so I thought, why bother killing myself? And I am crocked, absolutely. That illness has knocked me way more than I thought. You know, compared to how I felt in Bowland. Go on, Tony. Go on, Top Cat. Dig in, mate. Dig in, mate. Keep. When I did my PB up here, I had to be careful on the corners because of how fast I was going up. And that's very much not the case now. Yeah, I had to take them wide so I could pedal through them, because otherwise it's too tight in your clip. Oh, it's Ian, not Peter. This is the steepest bit. Punch over it. You've got another gear as well, I think. Come on, Dad. Yeah. Phil's taking photos out of the saddle on the drops. Go on, Dad, not far now. 3 more switchbacks, unfortunately, but not far. Easy peasy. You can do anything for 30 seconds. Come on. Ha! Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, go on. Final push, let's go. This is the top. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Well done. Ah. It's only Ian, I think he'll be too quick, but I'll try and steer him on. Go on, all the way.
Hi guys, I'll try and keep this short and sweet because I know it's a very long video already. I didn't want to cut anything out that involves people in the community because that video is not about me and it's not about my ride. I've done that route plenty. It's about all of the people who came. So firstly, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who came. That sort of ride is made by attendance, and the fact that we had like 14 or 15 people come is brilliant, and from all corners of, well, the British Isles and Netherlands. So thank you to Craig and John, who came from Scotland. Thank you to Ed, who came a very long way and obviously was like a figurehead for the community coming. Thank you to the Netherlands boys, Ruben, Siemian, then Ian and Troy as well for coming all that way. That's amazing. That really added such an element, and to meet you all was fantastic. Then Tommy for travelling that way on a student budget as well, and everyone else. I'm not trying to single people out. I need to say a huge thank you to Phil Lovett, because I had emotional wobbles and stress leading up to it. I said, oh, I'm not even looking forward to this anymore. It's just stress. I can't organise it. It's going to snow. No one's going to have any fun. Phil cheered me up before the event, he cheered me up on the event, he cheered me up after the event, and it was just me being stupid. But yeah, it made a huge difference. So Phil Lovett, thank you for coming. Thank you for being the guy that made everyone have fun no matter what, for looking after Ian when he needed it, for looking after me when I was being a bit of a drip. Huge impact. Yes, obviously we didn't do the whole thing. I know that's a disappointment, but 155 km and nearly 4,000 metres of elevation is a massive day out. You can see that I was absolutely crocked. I should not have done that ride. 8:01 relative effort. I don't think I ever get over 300, even for the biggest rides anymore. 8:01 is absurd. My heart was just beating out my chest the whole time. That being said, I still absolutely loved it. You can see that I didn't pace this well. So here's the full ride, and you can see the massive beast of Bwlch-y-Groes in the middle. And I love these hills. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it. It's my favourite road in the world, that gated farm road that doesn't even have a name and ending on Stwlan. Pacing, you can see that I paced it terribly. In Phil Lovett's Marmot video, he says, rule 1 is you do not go hard on the Glandon. And this is the equivalent of me going hard on the Glandon, getting PRs on these early climbs. I've had a go at those climbs in the past, and me trying to chase Tony Cope's wheel. Right, Top Cat is a stronger rider than me, and I should have let my ego split and just sat in, but I didn't anyway. Bwlch-y-Groes, 17:19. It's an okay time. It's not as catastrophic as I said it was in the video, but 183 BPM is, worrying. Really silly. All in all, fantastic day out. I wanted to show you, because I'm the sentimental type, this little compilation that I put together of everyone's Strava activities. Now, this might seem a bit narcissistic, because there's lots of, oh, thanks, Nick, but that's not why I did it. I didn't, it wasn't like I'm trying to make a shrine to myself for organising it. I just love seeing people share my love for Snowdonia. I know you're all bored of hearing about it, but it's a special place to me, and seeing that, having that validated was absolutely lovely. I love what a great time everyone had, and I love this little collage. I've made it in MS Paint, so it's terrible, but it's great. I hope you've enjoyed the video, despite how outrageously long it was. We're going to do a 2023 one, hopefully. I've already plotted the route, of course I have. It doesn't contain any of the same roads, but it will be very, very nice all the same. So hopefully I'll see you there. Yeah, if anyone ever wants to come and ride with me in Snowdonia, drop me a message. I'll plan as a route. I will plan as a day out, however you want. I just want to cycle in Snowdonia more with mates. So that's a sincere offer to anyone watching this. Hopefully I'll see you all soon. See you in the next video.